And we also need to keep an eye on numbers of cows and pigs, because these yards will take getting on for 700 of each. That may end up as a lot of harvesting work just to keep them in food. Or the opposite of that is we're going to need a big trailer to ship them to market every so often. Now obviously starting with 10-20 cows isn't going to be a lot of work, and also when it comes to time, I think every 3 years you look at selling cows. If we buy 1-year-old cows, then we've got 2 years with them, then we sell them and use the new cows bred on the farm to run the herd, to run the herd with. So, end of the second year we'll have sales of cows, what we bought, so what we can ship conveniently in our transport. But when we start getting to, okay, you've got 500 cows and you need to sell 150 of them, 450 cows, you need to sell 150 of them. At that point, that's going to be a big giant deal. Managed to sneak that one in. I think there's a tuft of grass there that I didn't cut earlier. And then this one, I'm going to try and keep center line on the front mower. Now obviously if the row is a little bit wider, it'll get picked up by the butterfly mowers at the back and dumped in the middle anyway. But, like that. I think there's a little bit of grass down in the left corner I need to tidy up. Yeah, there's a lot of grass in the corner that I need to tidy up. Alrighty, let's that wasn't exactly what I wanted to do. I wanted to fold that up. Okay. That's pretty much done. I should be able to park this over on the left and not be in anybody's way. Drop the front mower there, and I'll hitch up to the big giant baler. Well, I'll try. I'm not doing too well on that count. There we go. Alrighty. Okay, need to bring that up and change bale size. Currently 220, so yeah, it's set at the right size. And oops. Actually, next thing we want to do is this thing again. And of course, with baling contracts that include wrapping, this contract is going to take a lot of manual work. Alright, you head back to that farm. Okay, that should keep him on the right side. I need to take a little break. I'll be back in a sec. Okay, I'm back. And the message is still up, so that obviously finished fairly recently. And we are holding up traffic. Oh. Actually, one subtle advantage of having this tractor is it does have a 32-mile-an-hour gearbox. I believe the 5S is limited to 24. So our road speed is going to be a little bit more comfortable. Okay, let's get this thing unfolded. The doodad lowered and turned on. Okay, let's make bales. So this will take a little while. I think for the most part we're definitely going to get this contract finished today. May look at one of the others just because we need the money. We are going to have to buy some mowing kit for our fields. I don't want to limit myself too much in that respect. I'm assuming the silos we have on the farm are standard silos. I don't have a tipper, so I can't check. But I think the first thing we're going to be doing in our own fields is probably harvesting the sunflowers. And so we'll just need the grain cart for that. Once we've done with harvesting the sunflowers, we're probably going to get one cut of grass before winter. So we'll need some grass kit, but I want to be in a position where the grass kit I buy is not too limiting. So, you know, I don't want to buy a mower that's of a certain width and then, well, in order to get wider I'm just going to have to sell that one and get a different one. So that's the general plan. Don't waste money if I don't have to. We'll get a reasonably cheap windrower. Possibly a baler wrapper combo. I'm not too worried about round bales in Farm Sim 22. They don't seem to roll as egregiously as round bales did in 19 and 17. But then once that's all done, yeah, I do like the round bale collector from Anderson. That does have a good working size. Yeah, 24 bales, and I do have access to the Anderson square collectors, so we don't, when and if we ever get round to square bales, we don't have to go bale stackers a vertical stacker, we can go with the collector, which unloads to a row like the round bale collector does. Because again, our sheds are fairly low, so having a bale stacker, we can stack on the field, but when we want to put the bales away, we're going to have to find some other method of moving them. And I'd kind of like to do as much as possible with as few pieces of equipment as we can get away with. Now, if we do end up with a rock problem, and obviously some of the fields on this map do have rocks on them. One of the options we have here is I do have a rock collecting shovel, so we can just run around with a front loader and pick up rocks off the field rather than forking out for a rock collector. Now, that doesn't mean I won't eventually get a rock collector when I can just send a worker loose and just say, go fetch me the rocks and bother me when you're done. But initially, I believe the most efficient way of doing it is to shovel them up off the ground and just be happy with that. And apparently it's quite fast. So I seem to be doing okay with this, and now we're onto the rows. That said, I am not collecting all of the grass. So we'll see how well we do with the last row that we collect, and then figure out if we're going to how much extra we're going to need to collect to finish off a bale, and then whether there's enough grass on the field to make another bale. Always the problem with contracts. Number of times you end up, I've got 96% of a bale, I need 500 more litres. There ain't 500 more litres on the field. So, tough. Okay. Now, so there seems to be a right-hand bias or a left-hand bias on the grass pickup. He says missing bits on the left instead. Yeah, so the collector on this is some of the balers I've seen will collect a lot wider than the collector head would appear to indicate. This is not one of those balers. So if you're not absolutely 100% precise with your track down the windrow, you're going to miss some. And again, I'm back to my usual trick of alternate grass rows. One, because it gets you down the field and then alternating coming back, so you end up back at the start of the field. And two, it's easier to make the turn at the end of each row than trying to turn as tight as you can. Less strain on the equipment in some ways. And I've seen local farmers who will work fields in this manner. Once they've got the rows done, they will they'll bale them up alternate rows. So it's just a nice shallow turn. You're not trying to fight it into the row, you're just sort of coasting it in. Okay, we come back on the full row. It looks like the last run down the field will be on the light, the partial row. But again, we're back in a case tractor. We're pretty much, well, apart from the old sort of 1990, early 2000s case tractors, I never really played case tractors on Farm Sim 17. And it wasn't till right at the end of Oakfield Farm we got ourselves mid-sized case, about 280 horsepower I think it was. But I really haven't gotten into modern case tractors in any of my playthroughs. I think I tried to do a case farm and just lost enthusiasm for it. I think if I've still got that game save, I should probably go back to it, because it was going to be a cow farm and I still need to complete the cow achievements on Farm Sim 19. I think if I ever go back to do pigs, I'll probably run them through Oakfield Farm, because it's easier that way. I just don't have any food for them as we left it. Although we had 1.4 million money, so there's always that. Alright. Back that way. Take out that one. Good number of bales. Don't think it tells you. At least for 19 it didn't tell you how many bales you contract. However, for 22 it does. Because I'm pretty certain I've not made any bales on my farm, so with 30 so far, should be getting on for 50 at the end of this. Anyway, I think what we'll do is we'll skip a row. Let's get that bit too. So we'll just get an easier entrance to that row I've missed so far. Also, with the lack of stuff to do, probably not going to stay first day of September for much after this contract. It's a decision. Do I do the £7,000 contract, or do I just skip it? Obviously it's going to take half the time that this one does. But the other option is to skip through to second day of September. We're doing a 3-day month, so I may, as I said, at the beginning of the farm, it's going to be pretty much, there's not a lot to do, so we'll skip days as we run. But as time passes, we will probably end up with more and more stuff to do, and we'll start using the days that we have at that point. I did say I wasn't going to do that, but I did. I really want to get to the end of the field and then see how full the baler is with a partial bale, and if I think I can manage to complete it with the dregs of grass that are dotted around the field, then we'll do that. Otherwise we should just move on, wrap what we've got, and start shipping them to market. Now, since we're borrowing this case tractor, I'm inclined to use our Massey Ferguson to wrap the bales, then send this off to get the collector and do all of the driving in not my tractor, because it'll save me on maintenance. I am running with reduced maintenance costs, but it will save me on maintenance, so we will do that as much as we can. Be interesting to see how much sunflowers we get. Obviously, also, I'm not intending to buy any production at this point. As I was saying last week, there is a benefit to buying production because it's storage. So, you know, if we harvest 50,000 litres of sunflowers, we could just dump them into a production facility and sell them as sunflower oil. That's kind of a good deal, rather than spending 70,000 buying a silo and having the sunflower sit in the silo for 6 months while you're waiting for the price to increase. You can convert it into sunflower oil. However, since all of the farmyards on this map come with a silo with quite a good capacity, we're not stuck for storage, so we might as well just say to heck with it, we'll just go with the storage, sell the sunflowers as is. It's going to save us, you know, buying a sunflower oil manufacturing facility is approximately the same price as a silo, but to be fair, if we've got one, we're not going to save any money by not using it. Hope that made sense. And, you know, similar deal with things like milk and what have you. The only thing I would consider buying is the sugar production, and that's because you cannot store sugar beets anywhere. So if all you're doing is growing sugar beets to sell, you might as well buy the sugar production facility, because it's going to increase the value of the sugar and it allows you to put it somewhere convenient until the price of sugar peaks, or sugar beets peaks, or whatever. But yeah, that. Oh, So, do I think there is enough grass on this field to make another bale? Interesting question. Do I think there's enough bales in the way that's going to bounce me all over the place? Yeah, that's probably a thing too. 454. I can't remember. Is our bale 6,000 or no 5,000 or 4,500? It's actually a good amount there. Use a bumper weight, I guess.